不错吧？
きなこ、あんみつ。
So hard to see from the moment we arrived. Cornelia, you are one who will survive. Time's been bad. You put smiles on everyone. Think of all that you have done. The place you're from, the wealth of the color of your skin. And all you have burns to the sky. It's all too late. You wonder why. Your every day is a struggle.